When we found Patty, he was tied up to a tree at the front of the property. So when staff arrived that morning, they sort of saw him out there.
He was severely matted to the point where we didn't know anything else was going on besides that.
As we were cutting off all of his fur, we noticed he had a lot of fleas in addition to all the feces and urines that he was caked in. And then we noticed once we took off all of his fur that it wasn't just the matting, it was actually that he had a broken leg.
We're seeing animals come in with more challenging circumstances. They need more care and medical treatment sometimes before they're eligible to be adopted and in that happy and healthy space.
When Hurricane Helene hit the western North Carolina area, we were asked to deploy and help kind of evacuate animals from those rural shelters, and Marilyn was one of them. We just went and picked her up at an airport along with a bunch of other animals, and we had no idea about any of her medical concerns or anything.
She had a pretty nasty upper respiratory infection. We could see that had been ongoing for a while. In fact, they actually noted when she had first gotten to the previous shelter, she had a big wound in her face with maggots in it. So we were doing a lot of care, focusing on getting her healthy enough to address her bigger concern, which was her teeth.
She had severe dental disease and she had to get multiple teeth removed. She had 9 extractions of full teeth and then also 9 retained roots.
I think the really cool thing about Patty was that he was just the happiest dog. Despite everything that was going on with him, he was just wiggling and dancing around, and he just didn't have a care in the world with everything going on. But with him being so underweight, he wouldn't have survived anesthesia. So the main goal was to get him to gain weight safely.
When animals are emaciated, we can't start just plying them with food because they can have a reaction called refeeding syndrome, which is very deadly. Once he got up to weight, then we could address the fractured leg.
He gained about 8 pounds of weight. And at that point, we could move forward with amputation of the fractured leg.
I met her in early November 2024 after she just had 9 teeth pulled the week before. She was in one of those e-collars. Fluids were oozing out of every part of her body. She just looked miserable and uncomfortable, like somebody that had a horrible cold and was in a lot of pain. The minute you took the collar off or she wanted some attention, she would purr just like any other cat. So that really made an impression on me. And that's why we started calling her a survivor. I said, this cat's going to need a lot of help. I can tell. I mean, she's still going to need a lot of help. She's got a long road ahead. And I want to make sure she gets with a family that will do it and can afford to help her out. So that sealed the deal for me. I decided I was going to keep her.
We knew that she was excited to bring her home. And it just felt good because she has a long, lengthy medical history. Robin understood it, and Robin was willing to take that on. So she was able to open up her home and her heart to a special case like Marilyn.
We were looking for a second dog to be a friend for our dog Bingo. When we were doing the meet and greet, he came up to me and I hugged him and he put his face right here. And I was at that point, I'm like, oh, you're coming home with me. Pretty much every time we are at the dog park, someone will come up and they'll comment, I've been watching your dog run around for 30 minutes and I just realized that he only has 3 legs. And it's amazing to see.
I think it's always important to support causes that you care about, but especially when the organization is willing to extend itself and take in animals out of a disaster zone, which is where Marilyn came from. I mean, that doesn't come for free, right? So there's always a need, whether it's on Marilyn or another animal in the Charlotte area. You can get your best friend right from people that are taking great care of her and save a life.
The fact that the Humane Society is able to meet the needs, particularly for a dog like Patty that needed extensive veterinary services and care, it's just so important that we support the Humane Society.
There's strength in numbers. No matter how big or small our donations are, they all add up to be able to create better futures and better outcomes for animals.
We strive to do the best for these animals and set you up for success. Being able to bring an animal home lets us bring another animal that needs help here to the shelter so we can give them the care that they need and get them ready for adoption as well.
You've heard the stories of Patty and Marilyn, and these are just 2 examples of the many animals that we help every single year. We want to be able to continue this work and help many more animals. And we can do that with your support.